Are we on?
Yeah, we're on. Everybody, Karen Murray here, along with the Green Machine, Mark Mattingly.
The guy with the green Chuck Taylors.
Does anybody else have those green shoes like Mark? I don't think so. So we are back in the car today. We're just pulling out of the casino. And I've been looking forward to having Mark in the car with me because he does networking. He's been doing networking for a lot of years, and he's successful with it. So we're going to get some nuggets. But we are... oh, look at that. It's green. What? I've never seen that before.
That's because it's pretty cool.
That just changed. That's something new.
Wow. You said the Green Machine. Green.
No, it's not. Oh, that. I wonder if it's because I said it was the Green Machine. That's weird. Okay.
I like it.
Okay, so our screen is doing all this different stuff. So as you guys are all coming on and it's saying you're listening all stuff, the thing is actually in green on our screen. I've never seen this before. So, wow. The little things that amuse us, right, buddy?
That's right.
So
I'm easily amused by that.
Yep. So we are going to go for a little drive here in the city of Lakewood. We're going to head on over to Classy Chassis, get a car wash, as we always do. And so Mark doesn't know what the questions are today. And frankly, to be honest with you, I don't know either. We know generally what they're going to be, but whoever we have in the car always says something that leads us down whatever path that it just tends to go. So it's kind of a free-flowing deal. But my main goal here is to get out of Mark all of his networking secrets, because he does them very well, and so we're going to talk about that. Like I said, he doesn't know what the questions are, so he doesn't know how to answer them. Here's my first question. I know you've been networking a long time, and I'm going to give you a chance to tell us what it is you do. Actually, no, I'm going to ask this question first. In your entire networking, what's the biggest deal? What's the number one deal you've ever created out of your networking?
The number one deal I've created out of my networking?
Yep.
That's a tough question.
It should be really easy. I'm serving this up to you on a platter, pal. Come on now, think about it.
Well, I'm not sure where you're going with it.
If you don't answer this right and you go home, your wife might slap you around.
Oh, okay. Duh.
So Mark,
I used a networking service as a dating service, and I met my wife through the Chamber of Commerce.
Sean, I'm sorry I didn't give that to him before. But for all of you that haven't met Mark's lovely bride, Sean, Sean actually was the one that introduced Brian Harding and I.
Yep.
At a networking event, and that's gone pretty well, that relationship. Sometimes I wish he maybe hadn't connected Brian and I. But yeah, so that was his number one deal. They've been married. How many years have you been married now?
We got married August 1st, 2015.
So you're coming up on 3 years, huh, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he met his bride at a networking event, and I can tell you that was his number one grab, and he was very lucky. He definitely married up, but I believe she married up too, because he's a pretty quality guy in my book, and she's awesome. You'll get a chance to meet Sean.
If she's watching, I married up.
Yeah.
And because I will share this at some point with her, I married up.
Yeah. He's playing it safe. He's hedging those bets on this one. So tell us again, who are you? What do you do?
All right. Well, you've already introduced me. My name is Mark, and I work for myself, and I'm contracted with a company called Country Financial. Quite often, I've heard of you guys. I had a loan with you, and I want to start by saying I can guarantee you've never had a loan with Country Financial. That was a whole different company that's out of existence now. We don't do mortgages.
Wow.
So it's insurance and financial planning.
So all types of insurance?
Personal lines, commercial lines, so home, auto, commercial, life, disability, long-term care, and commercial auto, and then retirement planning for individuals and businesses.
Maybe it'd be easier to say, what don't you carry?
Yeah.
Is there like anything you don't have?
Short-term disability.
Gotcha.
So I don't do like Colonial Life or Aflac. I don't write that, although I know some quality people who write those products.
Awesome. How long have you been in the insurance game?
So I originally started in 2008 while still living in Arizona before I came back up here in 2011, and that was with Country. So I've been with Country, starting with them originally in 08.
Have you been with them the entire time from 08?
When I came up, the way our contract is written, it didn't make sense for me to transfer. So I actually resigned, got up here and reapplied and got rehired.
Okay.
Did a short stint somewhere else.
So tell us in that time, and I don't know what you did in Arizona. I do know what you would do up here. I don't know everything you do to build your business, but I know a huge part of building your business is networking.
Networking, yeah.
So tell me about your networking. What do you do? How many groups do you belong to? What kind of the role does networking play in your business?
Well, networking plays a huge role in my business, and it always has. Before I was in this industry, I had a mortgage company in Arizona for 13 years, and I belonged to Mortgage Broker Association. Came into this industry.
I did not know that.
Yeah, 13 years.
Did you own the company?
I was a net branch, so it was my branch. The corporate was out of Houston, Texas.
In the mortgage business for 13 years.
Yeah.
That is the funniest thing. I just got in the car with Mark Mattingly and learned something new within about 5 minutes. I had no idea.
Yeah.
All right, carry on.
All right, carry on. So the first association I ever belonged to was the Mortgage Broker Association, but I really didn't do any networking in that. My first networking would have been the Chamber of Commerce down in Arizona, and once I moved back up here in 2011, I immediately joined the Lakewood Chamber, where I, through that dating service, met my wife, which you already disclosed. And I belong to a couple other things. I belong to a lead group where it's one person per industry in the group, and belong to another association, Automotive Service Association. I sit on the Pierce County board with them as the secretary. The last couple of years I was the treasurer, and Ignite You.
So, in other words, you do a lot of networking.
Yeah. Yes,
so,
a lot.
So what else do you do then? We'll come back to networking to build your business. And I know you're actually one of the top country agents in the United States. I don't know exactly where you are, but I know you've won your incentive trips like the last 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
And I know that networking plays a huge part, but let's just take networking. We're going to come back to it. When you aren't networking, what else do you do to build your business? You must run radio ads, TV ads?
No.
Newspaper ads?
No.
You stand out on the street corner with the bill with the sign saying
We'll sell insurance for food.
Yeah.
No, I don't do that either.
What do you do?
I network.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're networking just pretty much all the time.
Yeah. 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 So I used to have a coach when I had my mortgage company. I had a business coach, and one of the things that he told me that I still believe in, it's one of the best pieces of advice that he ever gave me was, you have to put yourself out there, and it's about networking. But what he was talking about was, and I mentioned this to you before, the universal law of reciprocation, and so I network a lot. I'm involved in different organizations, but it's more than just being, that's the key word, the involved. It's more than just being in Ignite You, or in a Chamber of Commerce, or in ASA, Automotive Service Association. It's actually showing up and participating. My wife, Sean, and I, we make a concerted effort to deal with local business before we're going to do something online with somebody out of the area. And that's because it's going to come back out. We pay more, quite honestly, for services that we could get cheaper online.
Sure.
Through without knowing who we're doing business with. One of the things my coach said to me was why it's important to do business in person. You can make a huge sale, and that night you go out to dinner or happy hour to celebrate it, and you're toasting for that huge sale, and at the next table is your client, and you don't know it because you never met them.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. So then when you're networking and you're going to all these places, how do you know how do you know what the right groups are? Is there just a gut feeling? Is it how do you know?
Well, when you start, it's kind of like a dartboard, right? You just try a couple different things, but ironically, that gets back to networking. You make relationships and you make friends, and you say, hey, what else are you doing in your business to help your business grow? Oh, I'm involved in this, or I'm involved in that. These guys over here are great people, and they really support each other or support the association they're in. And you and I have talked about that before, about different things that have worked for us, different things that have not worked for us as far as networking. And I think birds of a feather flock together. That's very true.
And so what you're saying is your networking leads to other networking. So just even like we could be in the car here today, and maybe if we weren't on camera, be talking about different things that we're doing, and it might be, well, I'm in this networking group over here, and you're like, geez, I got to check that out.
That's right.
And so you found out about the networking just via word of mouth.
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah. And then once you go check them out, you're going to go see if it's a good fit for you. And
right.
Is it pretty easy to tell right away if you found a good networking group? Or does it take some time?
It takes some time, I think. You got to put some time into it, and you have to give it an opportunity. But you got to put yourself out there, see how people, if they're willing to, if they're more standoffish, or they're willing to talk to you and invite you in. That's the big thing, is how welcoming is the group. And that's one of the great things I like about Ignite U. Come on, how many places do you go to when you walk in the door and there's a line of people on both sides that you have to run down and high five and hug? That's pretty awesome.
I haven't seen a lot of them.
No.
And it's, thank you, ma'am. So we're here at Classy Chassis getting a car wash. So just so you know, this is that time of the show. Yeah, that's what I love about Ignite U. And what's funny is about all those people doing that at the door is it's not something we ask them to do. It's something that our members say, you know what, we want to do. We want to make our new guests and our members feel welcome. And so there's people that just go do it, and it's really cool. But I love the fact that it makes people feel welcome, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
So once you get in, so let's just jump over to Ignite U. Once you get in, you come into the room, and you know you've joined our family. What do you suggest to people? What are the secrets? What are the tricks to networking with people, to get remembered, to get known, to get business, all that stuff? Let's give me the world, the networking world according to Mark Mattingly at Ignite U. What works?
So one of the things that makes people remember who you are.
Hold on. For some reason, I just went offline.
That's fine.
That's never happened before. Never. Hey, are we back?
We're back. Apparently, and it's still green.
I think we just disappeared, but in a second you're going to hear this thing go over, so I'll have Mark quit talking. But that was the first time that we've ever done our live videos that we quit going live. I don't know what the deal was. So I think we lost a couple people because I see the number went down a little bit. But so the question I had for Mark was, what does he do? What's the secret sauce when he comes into a room Ignite U to get remembered, so he can network with the people in the room? And as soon as this goes over, I'll have Mark tell you all about it. And I got a little gift here for you. Hold on. From Classy Chassis, a free car wash.
I'll take it.
Boom. Free car wash, Classy Chassis. Oh, here's the noisy part. All right, and we're back.
Oh, we're back.
Now just talk loud to make sure that they don't.
All right.
So here's the networking world according to Mark Mattingly.
Yeah. So you asked me, about standing out. That was one of the things you said. You know, so I wear green shoes. Josh, right? Every time he stands up, hi everybody, I'm Josh. And the whole room, hey Josh. People have to know you. But part of that, in addition to just saying your name and wearing green shoes, is showing up and participating. You've got to show up. You got to show up before the meeting starts. So before everyone's sitting down and you're talking, or the networking has started, or the guests are being introduced or introducing themselves.
So meaning on if we're talking about 8 o'clock that the meeting starts on Friday, you should be there 7:30ish or somewhere in there.
You need to be there before 8 o'clock.
Before 8 o'clock.
Yeah, you need to be there, minimally 15 to 20 minutes before the start. You want to be there even earlier than that, to have the opportunity to say hi to everybody.
Because there's a whole lot of people to be able to say hello to.
Yes, there's a whole lot.
Something
that I don't do is I don't find a seat.
We've been hearing that from some of these people. You wait until you see where other people sit,
Right.
and then you plop down next to someone you don't know.
Yeah.
Just think if we had the entire room do that, we'd never get started on time because everyone would be waiting to see.
We never sit down.
So you said something else. I wanted to go back and ask you. You said show up and participate.
Yeah.
So what does participate mean? So we get people who they show up, say at 7:30 or whenever. On a Tuesday, it might be 11:30.
And they sit down and eat breakfast and never move.
So what's the participate look like then?
Well, walk around the room and introduce yourself to people and talk to people, including people you know, but as well as people you don't know, to welcome them to the group and find out what they do and
It's that simple.
why they're there. That's a great start.
So, and it is that simple. Here's what we see a lot of is people do exactly what Mark's talking about. It's that non-participatory thing of you sit down and grab your lunch or your breakfast and here's I know why that happens, because here's the thing is, if it's not my event and I go to somebody else's event, I do exactly the same thing. And so here's the funny part about networking. Mark and I, and we've never had this conversation. Mark is a better networker than I am. Mark can go into any room and he's comfortable in any room and he does the same things in any room. He's outgoing and he can do what he just talked about. He can participate in any room. When I go into a room that's not mine, if it's anybody else's, I'm the wallflower, the guy sitting down grabbing something to eat, and I'm just waiting for it to get over because it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You probably didn't know that. But Mark is a way, way, way better networker than I am. So those people that are sitting down are just like me, and they're just literally crapping their pants, trying to figure out what to do, and da 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 da. So here's my clue for that one, on Mark's participation hint, which I love it. Go around and do your thing. But here's what I want you to do too: is look for those people who are sitting at tables. They're not sitting at tables because they don't want to participate. They're scared, right?
Right.
And so as a great participatory guy like Mark, a great coach, a great person who knows this networking is, go grab those people and walk them around with you and introduce them to people. It'll bring them out of their shell like you wouldn't believe, and you're still able to accomplish the same thing you were doing. And that's actually a great thing as part of the participation, is introduce people to each other that don't know each other. Matter of fact, like I said when we first started, that's how I met Brian Harding, one of my best buddies, is because his wife did exactly that. And I wouldn't have gone over to meet Brian had that not happened, because I wasn't my event and I was just nervous and everything. Fortunately, Sean brought Brian over and we connected and have done some pretty cool things.
Just real quick, I love how she did it though.
She grabbed Brian by the wrist and hauled his butt over.
And she said, "You two need to meet," and she walked off.
That was it. And I use that thing in all of our boot camps, and it's funny. So Sean, I give you credit in every single boot camp we do. We have about 200 people have come through now. And I tell people about making these connections, and they look at me like, well, there's got to be some secret to it. How, the words you say. And I said, nope, let me show you how Sean Mattingly does it. And I grab someone's wrist and I say, this is what she did with Brian. And she walked him across the room and said, you two need to meet. And then she left. And the thing is, that's actually perfect networking in my book.
It is.
It's just doing it and just getting people where they just meet.
It goes to the point where you got to participate, and she forced you two to participate, whether
Yep.
you were or not in that moment. She forced you two to participate together.
Yep.
And not only have you networked professionally together really well, you've also created a great friendship, just like all of us have. A lot of us have.
Yep.
And
Here's my heart. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah,
I'm
there
driving
you
with
go.
no hands. Thanks, Sean.
self-driving.
Good thing you don't insure me, huh? That'd be bad.
Yeah.
So, show up, participate. What else you got for us, brother?
Show up, participate. I mentioned the universal law of reciprocation. You have to be able to to be willing to try to work with people in the room, to see what they have to offer. You know, it's just important to me, and you've got to. It's again using local business, local. If you're an Ignite You at an Ignite You event, that's the local business right then. Talk about what they do, and if you can't use them, maybe you know somebody who can.
That's the big thing. That's the referral part of it. That might not be something that you need at that point, or ever. Maybe you've got that thing covered, but you might know some people. And that's you know, we don't have industry exclusives in our group, so we have Mark's not the only insurance person. But the great part about it is we have a lot of really great insurance agents that everybody in our group should be able to find someone in our group that can take care of them.
Yep.
To have the right policies. But it's also about that the chemistry that you have with that agent, right?
Oh yeah.
Because not everyone necessarily will click with you or click with someone else. And the other part of that is you may not want to work with everyone because they may not be the ideal client. And that's the cool part is we have so many that we should be able to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And so that referral thing is huge. And I know a lot of our insurance agents refer work back and forth, which I love to see.
That's a fact. And I've done that with some of them in the group.
That's how it should be.
Yes.
So tell me, you know, you've been doing this. You've been a member at Ignite You for how long? 4 or 5
years.
4 or 5?
Probably 5 years.
You've been here since the time we switched it to Ignite You and started doing the membership fee.
Yep.
So that's close to 5.
Yep.
You were one of those, pretty close to those originals.
I did the.
Yeah, you were right.
I emceed the event at the Tacoma Center. Well, you kind of emceed it. I ran around and interviewed everybody.
Yep.
Let everybody know what their prizes were.
So you've been around. Let's just call it 5 years.
Okay.
And you know. Well, here's the thing: is Brian Harding has been doing stuff with us for 5 years in February, somewhere in there. So you've got to be around for as long as him. So tell me what has Ignite You meant for your business, specifically just Ignite You.
Okay, so because I knew that I was going to be in this car ride with you today, I did pull some numbers up last night to take a look, and it's funny. My system, I put in the system when I put somebody in there where they came from, whether it was an Ignite You referral, for instance. And then I went to pull some numbers last night, and a lot of the ways that we input, I wasn't able to pull. So these numbers aren't exact, but they should be pretty close. So just for the last 3 years, I was looking, and I did in life insurance alone over $55,000 of premium just through Ignite You.
Wow.
Yeah, but what Ignite You has done for me is, you mentioned it earlier, I've been on a lot of trips. My son-in-law told me about a week or two ago, he says, you work for such a great company, they give you all these trips, and I laughed.
They give them to you.
And he said, what are you laughing at? I said, they don't give me anything except the ability to earn stuff, right? So I've earned all the trips, and Ignite You has been a big part of that. Whether it was, I went to Europe, Barcelona, and Maui, and the Bahamas, and Mexico, and I'm going to San Francisco next month. And Ignite You's been a big, big part of that, and I'm very happy with that.
So what tell me if I'm hearing you correctly, it's more than just the dollar figure that you've produced, you've generated, because what I just heard was a lifestyle. It was
oh yeah,
and I know you've made a ton of friends,
yeah.
A ton of relationships, and I even like with me, I get to see you, almost every week, and you can do things socially, and but I watch the things that you do socially with everyone else. So you're making all these relationships. You're able to do the business, but then it also supports you in a lifestyle that you can go out and enjoy life with your wife.
Right. Absolutely, that's correct. As a matter of fact, the last trip was Cabo, and it was, I think, our second day there, and we were walking down to breakfast, my wife and I were walking down the hallway of the hotel, and I said, we are world travelers. And I looked at her and said that, and she goes, okay. I go, no, you don't get it. We're like really world travelers now. This is our 4th year in a row, and now it's coming up on our 5th. This is our 4th year in a row that we've earned this trip. and we talked about Ignite You and different avenues that we use for marketing to bring business in. And it's phenomenal. We've been blessed to be able to do those things, and blessed to meet a lot of the people through Ignite You and make the friendships that I've made. Sorry, I saw an Ohio State sign. Go Buckeyes. Squirrel.
Squirrel. He saw an Ohio State Buckeyes sign or whatever, and he was gone.
Yes.
It's that and the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll do it to him every time.
I'm telling you.
So I'm going to ask you for 2 pieces of guidance, leadership, advice. Are going to be for 2 different groups. First of all, I want you to tell the people in Ignite You. They're the ones watching right now on our Facebook Live. Give them a couple nuggets as far as what should they do if you're the guy, maybe you're the guy leading a boot camp and you're telling them what they need to do to be successful in their networking. Hammer it right now. Tell them what they need to be doing networking, because you're extremely successful. You're one of the best networkers I've ever seen.
Well, again, it goes back to you got to participate. And participation comes from a few different angles. One is showing up. You've got to consistently show up. And I know it. I have gone through spurts, and you and I have talked about that. And sometimes I'll miss a few weeks during hunting season, especially. I'll miss some Fridays. And then I'll show up, and I've been gone for a month, not showing up for 4 consecutive Fridays. And people were looking at me like, who's that guy? Who's the new guy, right? Like, no, I'm not the new guy. I've been here for 5 years. I just haven't been around.
And I don't know if you saw Kevin House's last week, but he said something really big is when you're not there for anybody, people forget about you really fast, don't they?
Yeah, it's crazy. And another thing that I wanted to say was give the opportunity to the people in the group who are trying to grow their business the opportunity to learn what they do and maybe even work with them. You know, I've said this many times at our tabletop networking, the 3 minutes, is when you're working with an internet company, especially an internet company who's not local, and price is what's really important to you, whether it's insurance or a mortgage or some widget that you're buying or ordering, whatever it is that you can get local. What I can guarantee you is that online company based out of Texas or wherever they're from is not only they're never going to send you a referral, they're never going to attempt to send you a referral.
Right.
And I might not ever do business with you.
Yeah.
But I'll attempt, because I come here and I try to have an opportunity to meet with everybody, know what they do. Some people are better at it than I am, but I know that I'm better than a lot.
There's no relationship built when you shop online.
No. And I shop online. Come on. Everybody shops online.
Yeah.
We all do. But if you can find something local and you can use somebody, especially who you know, even if it's cheaper online, say, hey, I found this. Can you match?
Right.
And they may not be able to, but they'll certainly try.
So for those watching, it's all about showing up and participating, which everyone we've had in the car, it's the same common theme, and they're all doing well because it's all that showing up and participating and creating those relationships. So the next one is for people not in Ignite You yet, because we'll put this out on YouTube later tonight. There'll be someone on YouTube that's not in Ignite You yet that's going to take a look at it and wonder if they should come and check us out. So what's some guidance for someone who's not in Ignite You yet that might be looking for a networking family, or might not even know what networking is? Here's a great thing that's really cool now. We have a lot of people joining our group that didn't even know what networking was. They were like, I didn't know these groups existed. I love that, because then you can just watch them and they're just running. It's just crazy. But so tell me, for someone who's not in Ignite You yet, what would you recommend?
Come give it a shot. You know, there's so many networking groups out there where it's specific to, you meet once a week or once every 2 weeks, and it's industry specific, where you have one person per industry and you become part of that. And the idea behind that is fantastic. What the reality is, sometimes what happens is, where you're required to pass leads, people are passing leads that aren't necessarily real leads. And you come to a group like Ignite You where people are coming here to grow their business and to help each other grow their business, but there's no requirement. There's no requirement to pass leads. If you never passed leads, you're not going to get booted out, okay? But the reality is you'll pass leads, because you're going to see every week when we do the testimonials, the shout outs, and people are standing up, hey, I want to thank this person, I want to thank this person. It's amazing the amount of shout outs that you don't get to. You're like, okay, we got to move on. We're running out of time, and there's still 10 people with their hands up. Yep. And you'll find that this is really where you want to do business. Nice. And it doesn't have to be just, it could be a chamber, it could be whatever, but again, it goes back to you have to participate by showing up and using the services.
Yep. So I do have one more question on that one for Ignite You. So for you personally, and to be able to go on those trips where we've been able to help out there, $55,000 in life premium the last 3 years, all that cool stuff. How much do you personally pay for Ignite You?
Oh, I don't.
Wait a minute. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't?
Well, I have breakfast every once in a while. so that I got to eat food, but my membership is free.
So if you're not Ignite You yet, so we have a cool referral program where if you just refer 2 people who come and join the family and they're actually paying their dues, you don't pay for your membership as long as you have at least 2 on. So Mark, for the last 3 years since we've instituted it, hasn't paid for a membership. So there's not many places where you can have access to, as of last night, I counted last night, Mark, 458 members we're at right now.
Right on. 458,
and we'll have on a Tuesday and a Friday, we'll have, over 100 members. Last Friday we had 112, and we've had 138 over the week before that, I think it was. But
we're consistently over 100 every meeting now.
It's big, and there's no mandatory attendance, and so you get to pick and choose who you're networking with. But it's not many places where you can have access to that like Mark does, and paying nothing except for the food when you come into the room and buy your lunch, buy your breakfast, whatever it's going to be. Because he doesn't pay for his membership, and he won't unless he goes below 2, and then he'll pick up paying for his membership again at that point until he does another referral to get him to 2 and beyond. So I love that fact that all it took for you to be able to really engage, and that's also participating in my book, is he went out and found more people for the family, which means the rest of the family has more people to connect with and network with.
Right.
And that's how it gets so big, is that we've got a phenomenal referral program. So,
Karen, the reality is, as a small business owner, you have to network. Whether it's Ignite You or whatever you're going to do, you have to network. One of the great things about Ignite You is not only can your membership be free easily. Who was it last week who joined on Friday? You said, come on up, all the new members, and she came up. She joined on Tuesday, and her membership was free as of Tuesday.
Same day she joined.
The same day, yeah. So how many organizations can you join that's designed to help you grow your business, that your membership is free, and everybody wants you to succeed?
Yep. So if you haven't been to an Ignite You meeting, get your butt in here. So we're back at the casino now. We just parked. We're going to head on in here in a second, and if you're in Ignite You, and even if you're not and you're watching, if you haven't had a chance to get down here to meet Mark Mattingly, I want you to come in and meet everyone, but I want you specifically to meet this guy, because like I said, he is a better networker than I am. He's a better networker than most people that I know. He does a really good job, and so I think you owe it to yourself to connect with him. So here's my golden nugget if you're in Ignite You right now. If you have not met this guy, you have to hunt him down. You have to find him, and he shouldn't be hard to find. Look for the guy with the green shoes. You'll be the only one, right?
I'm the only one.
But you have to connect with him, and you have to just find out, what makes him tick, and let him know what makes you tick, and that has zero to do with business. I'm not talking about sharing all your business stuff. That'll come later. But just connecting and creating a relationship with this guy, for me personally, has been one of the most fulfilling things that I've done in the last 5, 6, 7 years, however long I've known him. I love this guy. I love him. And you should meet him, because I would love for you to know him like I do, as the friend that he is. He's an awesome guy, and he's married to an awesome lady. So get your butt in here, come to Ignite You, meet Mark, meet all these other people. Let us help you build your business. Thank all you guys for watching again. These just keep getting better and better. I love getting people in the car, and you.
It's a lot of fun. Thank you.
I was gonna say you put out, but that's not a good. Maybe he did really good. He said some cool stuff. I was gonna say he put out some really good information.
I'm not gonna put out to you.
So hey, you guys, we'll be in just a second. Hope you have a great day, and peace. We'll talk to
See
y'all
ya.
soon.